Hello everyone, my name is Manoresh Thapa, a faculty of BCom department, and today I'll be giving you a lesson on Unit 2 of Principles of Marketing for the batch of 4th semester, and I'll be covering a topic called consumer behavior and the factors influencing consumer behavior. So without any further delay, let's start with the topic. Firstly, the meaning of consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is defined as all psychological, social, and physical behavior of potential customers as they become aware of, evaluate, purchase, consume, and tell others about products and services. In other words, consumer behavior includes the act of individuals directly involved in obtaining and using economic goods. These acts are the results of a sequence of decisions made by the buyer. These decisions are influenced by various factors. Hence, consumer behavior is the process by which individuals decide whether, what, when, where, how, and from whom to purchase goods and services. So the discussion gives the following information about buyer behavior. Firstly, consumer behavior involves both individual processes and group processes. Secondly, consumer behavior is reflected by post-purchase evaluation, which indicates satisfaction or non-satisfaction. Thirdly, consumer behavior includes communication, purchasing, and consumption behavior. Fourthly, consumer behavior is shaped by social environment. And lastly, consumer behavior includes both consumer and industrial buyer behavior. Now moving on to the second topic, that is factors influencing consumer behavior. As we have discussed, consumer behavior is affected by a number of factors. They can be classified into first one, cultural, second, social, third, personal, and the last one, psychological factors. So let's start with the first one, that is cultural factors. Cultural factors have a deep influence on buyer behavior. Culture is the basic determinant of a person's wants. It refers to a set of learned beliefs, values, attitudes, morals, customs, habits, and forms of behavior that are shaped by a society. These are transmitted from generation to generation. Culture is always alive, moving, and ever-changing. Culture shapes the pattern of consumption and pattern of decision-making. Food habits, religious practices, the way we dress are all influenced by culture. And some examples now. Tooth powder usage is in line with traditional mouth-washing habits. The person applies tooth powder to his index finger and rubs it on the teeth. Hence, the reason for the popularity of the tooth powder. Second example, many companies have come out with religious calendars with illustrations of the products, and such calendars are preserved for a long time. Subculture. Each culture consists of smaller subcultures that provide more specific identification and socialization for its members. There are 4 types of subcultures. First one, nationality group such as Chinese, Irish, Polish, etc. Second one, racial groups such as blacks, whites, etc. Third one, geographical groups such as North Indian, South Indian, etc. And the last one, religious groups such as Christians, Muslims, Hindus, etc. While Brahmins prefer to go for higher education and take up employment, Vaishyas are engaged in trading activities. Caste decides a person's status and power in society. During elections, the candidates depend upon the people belonging to the same caste. Social classes. There are divisions in the society which are hierarchically ordered and whose members share similar values, interest, and behavior. There are three distinct social classes: upper, middle, and lower classes. Lower classes show limited sense of choice making. Each class differs in the patronization, the reading habits, clothing habits, etc. Upper classes consumers want products and brands that depict their social status. Middle class consumers shop carefully, read advertisements, and compare prices before they buy. For example, a family from a higher class may wish to eat in a five-star hotel. A middle class family may opt for a cost-effective restaurant. Now, the second factor, that is the social factors. Under that, reference groups are the social, economic, or professional groups that have a direct or indirect influence on a person's attitudes or behaviors. Consumers accept information provided by the peer groups on the quality, performances, styles, etc. These groups influence the person's attitudes, expose them to new behaviors and lifestyles, create pressures on the individual. A family, a circle of friends, local club, an athletic team, college living groups are examples of small reference groups. When a member is satisfied with the product, he becomes the salesman of the product. He influences other members of the group. The consumers develop positive opinion towards a product, a service based on admiration and aspiration or empathy. The consumers think that if he uses it, it must be good. If I use it, I'll be like him. Example, many marketeers have used film stars to promote consumer goods. Second part, family constitutes the most influential group on one's attitudes. Personal values, attitudes, and buying habits have been shaped by family influences. The members of family play different roles such as influencer, decider, purchaser, and user in the buying process. A person acquires an orientation towards religion, politics, and economics, and a sense of personal ambition. Does not interact with the parents, still the influence in the unconscious behavior can be significant. A person's behavior is also influenced by his or her spouse and children. With a great exposure to more information through various media of communication, teenagers are occupying a major role in decision making. In Indian urban families, wife is the purchasing agent. In case of expensive product, there is a joint decision making. For example, husband dominance is always over life insurance, automobiles, television. Wife dominance in washing machines, carpenting, kitchenware. Equal dominance, housing, vacation, and outside entertainment. Now moving on to the third factor, that is personal factor. A buyer's decisions are also influenced by personal characteristics, notably the buyer's age and life cycle stage, occupation, economic circumstances, lifestyle, and personality and self-concept. First one, life cycle. People buy different goods and services over the lifetime. The life cycle of a person begins with childbirth, shifts to independent infancy, adolescence, teenage, adulthood, middle age, old age, and then ends with death. Under each stage, people's buying behavior is different. Under the first three stages, decisions are not made by the consumer, they are totally dependent on others. In the next stage, buyers not only make their decisions but also influence others' buying decisions. In the later stage of life cycle, they are back to the early stages. Example, with exposure to TV, school-going children have started influencing buying decisions with regard to biscuits, chocolates, soft drinks, toys, and marketeers are targeting this segment. A person's behavior depends upon his occupation. A company's managing director will prefer expensive suits, air travel, separate cottage, etc. A worker would prefer economic dresses, bus travel, etc. The occupation of a person decides his ability to buy. Hence, his need satisfaction depends on his occupation, which provides him the means. Occupation gives rise to the economic circumstances. A person may have high desire to buy so many things. All his needs do not become wants. This is the result of his purchasing power. People's economic circumstances refer to their spendable income, savings, assets, borrowing power, and attitude towards spending versus saving. Example, the Indian middle class has grown in prosperity and consumption of items such as kitchen appliances, TV, refrigerators, washing machines, ready-made garments, jewelry is growing. Personality. Personality is defined as persons distinguishing psychological characteristics that lead to relatively consistent and enduring responses to his or her environment. Personality is described in terms of such traits as self-confidence, dominance, autonomy, deference, sociability, defensiveness, and adaptability. A person to maintain his personality will decide his purchase accordingly. He buys products and services that reflect his image. Now the last factor, that is psychological factors. Motivation. Motivation is the driving force which makes the person act. Motivation is the drive to act, to move, to obtain a goal or an objective. A human being is motivated by needs. When these needs are backed by purchasing power, it becomes a want. Buyer behavior hence is stimulated by motivation. Now, the perception. A motivated person is ready to act. How the motivated person actually acts is influenced by his or her perception of the situation. To perceive is to see, to hear, to touch, to smell, and to sense something, an event or relation, or to organize, interpret, and find meaning in the experience. Our senses perceive the color, shape, sound, smell, taste, etc. Learning. Learning describes changes in an individual's behavior arising from experiences. Learning refers to changes in behavior brought about by practice or experience. Almost everything one does or thinks is learned. Learning is the process of acquiring knowledge about products, the benefits, methods of usage, and also disposal of product after use. So here we come to an end with the meaning and the factors influencing consumer behavior. I hope everyone has understood the topic that I've covered here. So thank you.
This and other episodes of Radio EduPods, Radio for Learning, are available on Listen to My Radio app at 6 p.m. from Monday to Friday. and at 6 a.m. from Tuesday to Saturday. All episodes are available on Salesian TV YouTube channel. Share, like and subscribe Salesian TV, the ultimate learning resource channel.